Greetings YouTube, LMS Tactical here, on the move again. Listen, I want to thank everybody for your comments on the last video I uploaded yesterday. What a good thing that was, man, that went down at the Bundy Ranch. But yeah, we got to keep an eye on it, because if it's over, it's probably just over until after the election, you know? I mean, people right now are thinking, in DC, they're thinking politics. And I don't trust, just because the government looks like they're giving in, I don't necessarily buy into that it's over. Okay, you know, about a week or so ago, whenever the school stabbing was, when the student stabbed 20 plus kids, I think it was, and I can't remember now, but I think I can't remember how many died. I think 3. I've been so preoccupied with the Nevada thing. But I made this detailed video the day after it happened, and I did it outside. That's why I'm doing it in the car here today, or in the truck. I made it outside, and the wind was blowing so loud that when I went to edit the video, you really couldn't hear a word I was saying. And I know the wind is irritating, and so it's very hard to recapture the thoughts of a video a week later. I know, Charlie, he's a good boy. But one of the things I wanted to say about that was, I think it's kind of not surprising, but pretty pathetic how the mainstream media is not. Charlie, I'm trying to make a video. He gets in these kissy moods here. I know, I love you, Charlie. Hang on a second. For all you dog haters, you're just gonna have to stick with me for a second. I can't interrupt the king when he's in a loving mood. Okay, the light's gonna change, and I gotta drive. I'm gonna get a ticket one of these days. Charlie, it's okay. For those of you that think it's gross to kiss him, he is a strange dog in that he has never once in the 7 years licked his ass or his balls or anything. He's not like that. He's a really clean dog. Okay, light changed. I gotta drive. Anyways, let me get a ticket. I think it's pathetic how the media, the mainstream media, has stayed away from the coverage. I mean, we all know that if there was a gun, a firearm used in that crime, it would have been the top story until we were like nauseous because of it. So what does that tell you? I mean, you know, I think we ought to be calling the media out on that. You know, because it's a knife. The suspect used 2 knives, and they can't ban knives. And all that did was prove what every one of us right-minded Americans knew all along, which was that if you take guns away from killers, they're just going to kill without guns. You know, if you take legal guns away from the good people, the bad ones are going to still have guns. But if you could snap your fingers and magically make all guns on the planet disappear today, by noon tomorrow you would still have an endless supply of murders taking place throughout the world, with knives, pipes, baseball bats, hands, rocks. You know, a determined killer can use a Q-tip if he knows what he's doing, or if he's pissed off enough. You know, you can beat a fucker to death with a wiffle ball bat under the right circumstances. So this is just typical selective reporting. And that reminds me, I can't remember her name. My memory's so bad. But with names and shit. I wonder how many of you are following this. I think it was CBS or, god dang it, a CNN reporter who ended up breaking her contract and quitting because, I mean, she's been making some appearances on Fox talking about how, because of flack that was coming, this is like critically important, man. It's very important that the liberals hear this, you know, that they become aware of this, because they're not going to hear it when they're watching their own little liberal stations. But she broke her contract and quit because of the amount of the horrendous amount of investigative reporting she was doing, only to have the reports either edited to the point where they weren't even the original story, or they never made it on the air, period. She was not allowed to put them on the air. And the sad part of that was, you know, a lot of her informants and sources had risked, you know, in many cases, their safety to give her information, believing that the story was going to make it onto the news, and it never did. Here we have Obama, who claimed he was going to have the most transparent White House in the history of the United States. And not only do we all know that's a joke, but it's quite the opposite. I mean, you know, she admits it, that she comes out and tells you that they were receiving so much flack from from the White House on stories that they ran that it became not worth the effort to make the bad blood between the CNN and the White House, so they would just go with some generic cat in the tree story. That's bullshit. And the way it ties into this stabbing thing is, here we go again, man. We should be demanding that this is on the fucking front page, that this is on the news, man, that this is a main story. They're talking about the fucking airplane missing still. We had 3 Americans on that plane. I'm not diminishing the tragedy of it, but look at all the Americans that were stabbed in that school, these young people. Why is this not a fucking huge issue? Some people say that it's because it's a rich, it's perceived as being a rich or an upper class white, white only school. But there again, here you see the fucking absolute reverse racism that takes place by the media in this country. It's pathetic. So I just wanted to get that out there. So yeah, there's not much more to say about it other than, of course, my heartfelt, my heartfelt condolences. Shut up. Buddy, I love you, but shut up. My heartfelt condolences go out to the families of the people that were killed and injured in that stabbing. And I just think it's a travesty that this state-run media just operates so blatantly against reality. Unreal. What do you guys think about that? LMS Tactical out.
Only if I get caught.